The picture shows the Melk concentration camp survivor Jozef Lewkowicz, who visited the former camp area in Melk in summer 2019. He stands here on the former Rollcall square of the camp, which is now called the Antreteplatz by the soldiers of the barracks. This historical photo, probably taken in spring 1945, shows several hundred concentration camp prisoners lined up on the Rollcall square. Several times a day the prisoners had to line up in this way, were counted by SS block leaders, and before marching to the forced labor, SS commanders assembled them into work detachments. The arrows show the prisoners' daily route. Strictly guarded and often maltreated, they were chased in step down the hill through the town of Melk until they reached the so-called KZ-Haltepunkt. At this specially built wooden loading station, the prisoners were forced into freight trains and taken to the tunnels of Roggendorf. Another KZ-Haltepunkt was erected there. Work in the tunnel was carried out in 3 shifts of 8 hours each. At the end of the shift, the prisoners returned to the camp. Several times a day, thousands of prisoners passed through the town. The march of the maltreated and abused prisoners was clearly visible and audible to the population of Melk. An eyewitness from Melk once told me that she can still remember the characteristic clattering of thousands of clocks, which she had heard as a child day after day when the prisoners marched past her house. You can see those clocks on the drawing by Michael Kraus. Back in camp, the prisoners had to line up at the roll call square again. The total number of those returning home had to correspond exactly to the number of those who had left 8 hours earlier. Otherwise, the prisoners had to stand at the roll call square until the mistake was cleared up. For the inmates, this meant that they had to drag all comrades who had died or been murdered during the day back to the camp. Daniel Piquet-Audrin documented this cruel procedure in this drawing. The roll call square appears repeatedly in narratives or drawings by former inmates, such as here in the drawing entitled Appell by Michael Kraus. After the end of the war, the roll call square was also a subject in war crimes trials. For example, the camp survivor Levi Amsterdam reported in court about the guard Karl Fleck.
Karl Fleck always stood at the roll call square and made sure that nobody put their trouser legs in their shoes or stuffed pieces of paper under their jacket, because we were very lightly dressed and everyone tried to do that. He beat everyone in a murderous way if he caught them carrying paper or something similar. The inmates were in a bad condition and could not do a good job. If someone collapsed or fell on the roll call area, he was kicked from spot to spot until he was finished.
Also on trial was Gottlieb Musikant on the right. The SS medical officer was responsible for the so-called prisoner hospital and killed many prisoners with fuel injections into their hearts. He was also supported by so-called functionary prisoners who were part of the Forced Society of Prisoners, which we will take a look at in the next part of our tour.